All right, today we're going to work on this part, the leaves in the back. So those leaves are overlapping. There are a couple of them. So we're going to simplify. We'll do as much as we can and simplify it. So I have here Sap Green, Burnt Umber, Cadmium Yellow Light, and Titanium White. So it's the same colors we're using, but we're going to be using in a bit less Burnt Umber and more Sap Green with Cadmium Yellow Light. All right, I'm going to start with first layer, Sap Green. I'm using a round brush, any round brush that you have, medium size would be fine. I'm going to take a little bit, we don't need dark Sap Green, there's no need. So I'm going to take, for now, Sap Green, put a medium kind of tone. Have a in between, a little bit of Burnt Umber as well. I'm going to start from the bottom part. Let's take a bit of more of the Burnt Umber. To get that olive color. All right.
Okay.
Even if I put randomly some leaves in with no kind of specific direction for now, it's okay. I will eventually use negative painting and shape them. So for now, I'm just putting leaves, green. Okay, I have a kind of an idea where those leaves are. And don't forget, this is in the back, so it's not a focal point. I'm just covering the canvas for now. Again. I'm trying to get less glare. You don't need to go too thick with your paint for now. More like a kind of fat over lean technique, where you start with a lean, thin layer and then put the thicker layer on top. Okay, that's good. Now we will highlight and give a couple of those leaves in the back a shape. Okay. I'm just going to let it dry a bit. But meanwhile, I can start maybe with the ones in the back. Do you need a bit of time?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe? All right, I'll pause for a minute. All right, so now let's start highlighting from the back to the front. So I'm going to start highlighting this one here, the one in the back right there. I'm going to use, I can see that this is kind of a olive color. So I'm taking burnt umber, sap green, and yellow. And let's see if it needs more highlight, and then I will add. All right. I think it's okay. We're good. That's it. We don't need more than that. I'm gonna. Okay. I will highlight it a little bit more in a minute. Let's highlight this one here. Just add more yellow. It's getting longer and longer. I have to fix it later on with the negative painting. And now I see more yellow on this one here. The ones in the front are kind of casting some shadow on this one here, but I will maybe do that later. I'm not sure, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there. Now there's a bunch of something happening here. I'm going to simplify a bit. A little bit of more of sap green now and cadmium yellow light. You can see some of this green is changing. It's not the same green everywhere. This is more with cadmium yellow light and sap green. I usually put my highlights and then I go back and I clean up a bit or adjust if there's anything to be adjusted. Okay. Let's keep going down. Right, again. So I am trying to add some greens here and there. These are the ones I can see. Okay, so what I'll do is I will highlight the ones I can see and understand what's happening. And if I don't understand what's happening at one point, I will just leave it and come back to it if I want to come back to it and adjust it. It's a beautiful kind of yellowish greenish one right here. Now, let's start with these little ones here. Too much happening in the picture, so I'm going to simplify as much as I can. We don't need all of this. We don't need to copy exactly the same. I can see that the colors are darker at the bottom and lighter on top. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to come down here. And now I'm going to highlight the ones I see here. Okay. Once you go down, when you get to the bottom, darken a bit using just sap green with, less yellow, a little bit more sap green and burnt umber, less yellow. We still want to highlight, but not as much as the upper part. It's random right now. I'm not highlighting everything. Some of the ones in the back, I'm keeping them dark. All right, I'm going to come back to this in a minute when it's dry. I'll work on this one here. Burnt umber. I'm mixing burnt umber with yellow. And this yellow has a bit of green in it. Just pay attention if you want, to this very subtle change in the color. Sometimes the leaf has more umber in it and less green. Sometimes it has more green and less umber. So just kind of look at what, the color that you're seeing carefully. Again, yellow, umber and cadmium yellow light. There's one here. This one has a bit of that yellow and burnt umber and yellow. Let's go back. While this is drying, I'm going to go back to this. I don't want to highlight too much. I'm going to work on some shadows. For some reason, I'm unable to do that. I have to turn it. All right, some negative painting. Cleaning up with black gesso for now. Okay. Let's go back. All right, let's highlight a little bit more. We don't want to highlight this section too much because we don't want it to come forward. So we will highlight just a little bit the ones on top, just to give it some interesting, some yellow in here. I'm taking a little bit of white. So if you highlight and you can't see, it's, you know, the highlight is not working enough, take a bit of white. Add it, and then you will get a really beautiful highlight. Strong one. There. It's a little bit too white, so I'm going to add yellow. I think I'm going to get rid of one. This one here, I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, this one here is highlighted. Now I'm going to take Sap Green, yellow ochre, maybe a little bit of white, very little, not too light. And I'm just going to highlight this part. And the one underneath. What I like about this is just a couple of those leaves that you see, they're highlighted and they're showing through, and the rest is, most of the rest is dark. That's what's interesting about those leaves. All right, now let's go back and now take burnt umber, just burnt umber. And I'm going to take a little bit of white, put it in this burnt umber, not much, enough to see the color and make it a bit more watery. And I'm going to come here again. Now with this, I mean this now burnt umber that I'm putting is kind of breaking all of this green that we see in there. I put a little bit more white. And highlight some parts. I go to some sap green again and burnt umber with a bit of yellow, a little bit of yellow, not much. And I'm going to adjust this one here. Sometimes you want to put a kind of darker leaf in the back to give depth and to make them look like they're overlapping. So I've done this now. I'm good. You know, for me, it's okay. I don't want to work more on too much on putting more detail. I'm just going to clean up this one here. And the next step, I'm going to take some black. I have here black gesso for now. Could be just black, ivory black, any black you have. And I'm going to come here, see how it is really dense in here. With the, it's all kind of almost the same value everywhere. First of all, I'm going to open up a bit in certain area with the dark, show the background, and then I will darken some of these. right here. I'm doing negative painting now. So you reshape whatever you have in the front. By using negative painting. Push this back. So now I'm going to go back and darken with Sap Green and Burnt Umber some of the leaves. So you see that most of them are coming forward, and I want, especially here, the bottom of the leaf, to be a bit darker. So I'm going to glaze some darks in there to create depth. And you could also use a little bit of ivory black and cadmium yellow light, and you'll get a nice green. But now here, see this here, all of this area here, it's almost the same, all of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going, and I put black, so it looks like it's really coming forward, like it's too strong, the black. So what I'm going to do is push this here in, darken it a little bit. I have here sap green and burnt umber, a bit of water, so to get that beautiful kind of easy green, that dark green. Let's put some yellow in here. It's too dark. If you find that it's too dark, and it will be too dark, put a bit of green. Yellow, I mean, sorry, yellow. Okay, here. This is like I'm trying to get a glaze. Let's get some black gesso again. Let's come here, give this part, open up this part a bit. It's too, it's just too much green in here, right there. So I'm using negative painting. You know what? I'm going to take some, instead of black here, I'm just going to put some black gesso in my sap green and come here, right there. So I'm pushing, I'm creating depth. I mean, we want overlapping the leaves to look like they're overlapping, but at the same time, we don't want them to be too dense. Okay, let's take a minute. I'm going to pause. All right, so we're done for this week. We highlighted the leaves in the back. I opened up a couple of, did some negative painting in a couple of areas. Some of the areas, this is black, but this is all in dark sap green, which is just sap green and black, just to push them back, the ones there, and highlighted some of in the front. So it's all using sap green, cadmium yellow light, and burnt umber. And over here, that's all kind of burnt umber and cadmium yellow light, burnt umber, cadmium yellow light with a touch of sap green. So next week we will work, next week we'll have the pattern done, and then we'll see if we start with the flowers or the pattern, one of them. Probably the flowers, this part here.